Hey everyone, this is episode 7 of Disney Co. in the Know, and today we are talking about our favorite table service restaurants anywhere on Disney property, including Disneyland. So, I am Bruce, I'll be your host, owner of 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, and today I am joined by Casey.
Hello.
And Lydia. And Elizabeth.
Hi.
So before we get started into our discussion today, just want to take a moment to say that Disney Co. in the Know is sponsored by 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, Disney and Universal travel experts that help plan your family's vacations and take away the stress. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. All right, guys, thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to anything that's food related. I look forward to. So, especially since restaurants are closed right now, the parks are closed. It feels like as much discussion as we can generate, the easier it is. So,
We have not had dinner yet, so it is. We're going to be very hungry by the end of this.
We're gonna talk ourselves into an appetite here. So,
Yeah.
Just for our listeners and viewers on episode 7, just want to talk about what table service means. So there are several different types of dining experiences at Disney. The two main ones are quick service and table service. Table service meaning that you have a reservation or you walk up and you are seated by a hostess, and you have a waiter or waitress and you select food from the menu. And quick service being you walk up like a fast food establishment and you order your food and take it back to a table. And so today, in episode 6, actually, we talked about quick service restaurants. And today, episode 7, we're going to talk about our favorite table service restaurants. So there are Disney dining plans that include table service credits. The Disney Dining Plan, Disney Dining Plan Plus, and the Deluxe Dining Plan. Obviously, the quick service dining plan does not include table service credits. So with all of those formalities out of the way, let's start talking about our favorites. So I'm going to start with ex-cast member in the food sector at the Magic Kingdom, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, tell us your first favorite or your top favorite table service restaurant at Disney World or Disneyland.
Okay, so both of mine are going to be actually at Disney World because I have more experience going there, but also I just enjoy the food at Disney World a little bit better. The Epcot has amazing scene of food for sit down, for quick service, and I mentioned that in the last one as well. So my first restaurant is Chefs de France, which I'll try to say that with as much of a French accent as possible. Yeah, exactly. So I have been to start out, I have been to France, and I would say this is very similar to the French atmosphere, the French cuisine over there. And so I find it to be very familiar, and with the way that they serve you, it's very familiar, as well, along like with having the French customs that you would get in France. With the menu itself, I really love the way that they do. They have a prefix menu that I really like, and I've gotten that multiple times where you can get an appetizer and then you can get your entree and then a dessert. And I really like that. They do that often in like actual France. So that's really cool to see that they brought that to Epcot and they utilize that. I love that. And that it kind of allows you to, choose items that maybe you would want to try, but this kind of gives you the opportunity to try in a prefix menu, which is nice. And I really like the desserts that they have in France. They probably have the best dessert options out of all the different countries. The creme brulee, I've had multiple times there. I absolutely love. That's one of my favorites, so I highly recommend getting Casey. I saw that. Highly recommend trying the creme brulee. But I also love the French onion soup. If you're looking for, it's just like a really nice hearty soup. They have a huge like baguette, basically basically in the soup itself, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I think they do a really good job at bringing in the traditional French flair with trying to keep it, you know, more moderate, like Americanized, to hit all the taste buds.
Yeah,
So I love
normally
that
like
restaurant.
French onion soup, and they have like bomb French onion soup there.
It's so
really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like I can do that with a salad and a creme brulee, and I'm set. So
I will say that just like in Italy, when I had nothing but pizza, when I was in France, I had a lot of French onion soup. And the one at Chefs de France definitely holds up to the onion soup.
Yeah, it's always funny, like when you're like, oh, I've been to France before, and then you're like, but I still like the French restaurant at Epcot better. Like then you know,
Very
like like Epcot's doing some good stuff because they're like, it's like authentic times a million. And yeah.
So Lydia's
really
point. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. To your point, this restaurant is beautifully decorated. The aesthetic makes you feel like you are in downtown Paris. And
it's like that 1920s, like, oh, I want to like sit here with like Ernest Hemingway and like read some poems type of vibe. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And have some French onion soup.
Yeah.
and the view is good. I mean, not all restaurants around World Showcase have the greatest view. I mean, most of them do. But like to be able to sit down by the windows and be able to look out at the France Pavilion or the lake is terrific.
Yeah, it's on like that nice like corner setting, so it has like that really pretty bridge right there. It's really pretty. And I even love, like, you know, this is slightly off topic, but like even the bridge is very Parisian, and then like down along the water they kind of do like that canal style like Parisian look. So even when you look out the window, even though like England's kind of right across the water, you still feel like you're in Paris, like you're in France. Like they did a really good job of making it feel like you're sitting in, you know, an actual Paris restaurant when you're eating there. So yeah, it's really awesome.
You leave that restaurant and you feel like you're still in Paris. So absolutely, I think one of the best. And I'm Bruce and I, Lydia, Casey, we've been to Disney a few times, and quite a few times, and that restaurant, however, well, besides Casey one time, that restaurant though we didn't start going to until probably in the last like few years, and it was kind of just one of those by happenstance, and then we kept saying, oh my gosh, why did we wait so long, you know, to come to this restaurant? And I remember one trip a few years ago we went like twice in one trip because it was so good. So definitely Chefs de France.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. One thing I will say for those listening and watching is if you have not been to Chefs de France, it looks incredibly fancy and nice. And there are actual fancy restaurants in France that do require a jacket or a dress for ladies. But this is not one of them. Even though it looks elegant and everything, you can walk in your park attire.
Yeah, you don't be intimidated by that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we never walked in, is because we're like, oh, well, we know that a dinner plate's going to start at, you know, $50 and up, but it wasn't. You can get, I think I was just looking, the prefixed meal is going to be about $35. And you get the entree or the appetizer, the entree, and the dessert included. So not bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to your number two.
And real quick, I do like to mention that they do not do breakfast there, but they do lunch and dinner. I think that's good to note. You can get breakfast options though at the back of France, but the Chefs de France only serves lunch and dinner. Okay, so my second favorite restaurant is the Grand Floridian Cafe over at the Grand Floridian. And they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this is one of my favorites. I went here often growing up as a child. They used to actually do a meet and greet with Mary Poppins in here many, many years ago. And then we have since gone here. It's a really great restaurant, you know, if you're wanting to leave the park and get some non-park food. We really enjoy coming over here.
It's like totally worth seeing this hotel. Like if you're gonna have to see one hotel during your entire Disney experience, you gotta go see the Grand Floridian. Like it's the most beautiful, I think. Well, I love the Polynesian, but I mean aesthetically it's so beautiful.
and it's a Disney icon. And so this can be a really good excuse to come over, grab a good bite of food, and then, you know, check out the hotel. Like Leah said, you can go over to Polynesian, head over to Contemporary afterwards, even if you want to continue on the monorail, and head back to the park. So it's a really nice break from the park, but the food itself is really, really good. With breakfast, they do an awesome like waffle sample that you can have, where they will do a waffle and like a Mickey waffle, and then you have different toppings that you can choose from. And I really enjoy that. They also have some really good mimosas, if you're into drinking mimosas as well. And then for their lunch and dinner options, they have different, it's more like parkside food, but then they also have kind of like that turn of the century options as well. They have one, and I was going to pull it up here real
and
quick.
while Elizabeth pulls that up, I do want to mention that French onion soup is on the menu here. So just throwing that
Yes. Yeah. The one that I was going to mention was they have the shrimp and grits, and I've gotten that multiple times, and I highly recommend getting the shrimp and grits if you're wanting something more southern. They do a really great job at it. Like I said, I've had it multiple times. Highly recommend that. And then they also do a really good meatloaf that I've had before. So they just do, you know, typical like turn of the century, but also very like home style type food. Like it's very filling and it's hearty, and the wait staff there is amazing, and they can walk you through the menu as well if you have any questions. We've always had a really good experience with the wait staff there. Anybody else want to talk about?
I remember we were there for our mom's birthday, and she got the like flight of desserts. That was pretty cool. So like, even, which is like such our mother. I get my sweet tooth, honestly. Yeah, that was really cool. That's fun. So they have some like really pretty and delicious desserts that you can get there too. And yeah.
There's nothing better than having dinner there anywhere at the Grand Floridian, but Grand Floridian Cafe, and then being able to go sit out in one of those rocking chairs or sit on the beach or just in the lobby and just, you know.
Those couches in the lobby are so comfortable.
It's nice to be able to relax after you overindulge. So
right.
And another point, you know, just because it's at the Grand Floridian doesn't mean that it's expensive. It's very reasonably priced. Both of the options that I mentioned that I enjoy are on the Disney dining plan as 1 credit. So you're not, you know, if you are using the Disney dining plan, it's a 1 credit place. If you're paying out of pocket, again, not super expensive by any means. A dinner plate will cost you, you know, per person about $25. And so don't think just because it's at the Grand Floridian, you can't go there. I highly recommend you can go there in your park attire as well. It's nothing, you know, overly fancy. So
yeah, of the table service restaurants out the Grand, I think it is the cheapest. So, well, I know it is, but okay, good. Anything left? Well, I meant like the other restaurant. The other restaurants are more expensive as well as getting that. So
yeah, I mean, there's a really fancy one there where like you have to wear a jacket, right?
Yeah.
Victoria and Albert.
There's Victoria and Albert's.
I've never been there.
Victoria and Albert's and Narcoossee's. So that's what I meant. Both of those are obviously more expensive. So anything left on Grand Floridian Cafe before we turn it over to Casey? No. All right, Casey.
Just overindulge.
Just overindulge, right? Yeah. We're gonna make T-shirts with that on it. Casey, top 2. What do you have?
All right, so yeah, I'm the newbie of the group, as we've already discussed. So I'm learning a whole lot today, taking notes. But for sure, so I have 2. One is great food, and then the other is like great, like experience and theming. I'll talk about the great food one first. It's Teppan Edo, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's the hibachi steak place in Tokyo in Epcot. We got to eat there with the whole family, so it's great if you have large groups. It's a lot of fun. Any hibachi places is always a lot of fun. They do the show as they're cooking and stuff. The food was overall like fantastic. Everything was cooked really well. And yeah, it just tastes. I mean, I love Japanese food, so it's
You
always
do
on
the
my mind.
little volcano on fire
Yeah,
trick,
yeah,
so
and then
you
they
can't miss
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
the shrimp tails and all of that. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like a great place to get a show. You can sit down for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. The meals tend to be pretty long just because they do the cooking. So it's like a great evening, afternoon with a giant group or even a small group.
Mhm.
And then I
Mhm.
think they have like the dining without the hibachi station, right? Or is that not
I
true?
think though, so yeah, for allergies, if people have an allergy, you
Yeah.
can sit on a different room without it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
very accommodating. The food is fantastic. Um,
It's
yeah,
so
overall.
beautiful too. The restaurant is
It
like
is.
Mhm.
the rooms are like you walk down a long hallway to like get into all the dining rooms, and it's just like very traditional Japanese. So if you kind of want that experience,
Mhm.
it's they do a really good job at making it like super realistic and
And
actually
the
correct.
best gift shop in all of Disney
Ah,
is right
Yeah.
below it as well. So
that's our
Mhm.
favorite gift shop. Yep,
Yeah.
they have
Epic.
all the cool stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, to Lydia's point, the inside is beautiful, but I certainly think the outside, the exterior is too.
Oh yeah.
Other than the
Yeah.
tower, it certainly is the piece that draws the eye or is the staple of the Japan
Mhm.
pavilion. So I love being
Mhm.
able to walk up those steps and be able to
Yeah,
look out
Yeah.
over the lake.
Yeah.
And the gift shop below is Mitsukoshi. So
That's right. Yeah.
it's my favorite.
yeah.
I don't know how you remember all these names. You're so
And it's really cool because it has like, not to like sidebar here, but they have like not just Disney stuff, but they also have a lot of gifts that you would find in like Japan. So they like Hello Kitty and Nintendo and like things
Mhm.
that are like very large like pop culture staples for Japan. So it's like really cool if you're into stuff like that, which Casey and I absolutely are. So we like geek out in there real
Yeah.
hard.
There's
But I
just
think
such a
it's
large
one of those
variety.
things. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you were saying, like with France, like you're just sitting in France and you like feel like you're in, Paris. Kind of the same thing
Mhm.
here. I've
Oh
never
yeah.
been to Japan before, but I
One day.
definitely feel like this would be how Japan is. Like it's very
Mhm.
like large, but just the outside of it, and then you go and have fantastic dining, and then you just walk
Mhm.
down and there's like gift shops, and you definitely feel like you're in a experience, which Disney does so well.
Mhm.
And I also love how it's like a show, just even walking
Right. Yeah.
into the place, like how big it
Right.
is, like that's part of the show
Very
right there,
grand.
before it even
Yeah.
starts. Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, Hannah and I did
Beautiful.
a show a few episodes ago, and she was asking me some Disney park questions, and she asked me what is my favorite pavilion in World Showcase right now,
Oh yeah.
and it was between I think France and Japan. So we're definitely hitting those. Dining certainly has something to do with that for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
100%.
Absolutely.
So
Hmm.
Casey, you let me know before the show that your second favorite dining, table service dining, is actually in Disneyland. So tell us about that.
It is, yeah. So Disneyland was the first Disney park that I ever got to go to. So there's kind of this like nostalgic feel of this first experience, the first time you actually get it and it clicks in your head. I'm sure all of us can relate to that. But yeah, so my second one is actually the Blue Bayou in the New Orleans Square.
Mm.
One, I absolutely love New Orleans and like Cajun food. So the food is a home run for me. But the overall like experience walking into that room, and it felt like you just somehow walked outside from being
Yeah.
outside. Like it's absolutely
Mhm.
crazy. And like
Mhm.
Insane.
there's just so many cool aspects of it. You know, you have the Pirates ride going through the restaurant, which is pretty insane. And yeah, it's just like walking in here was one of those first moments for me that like, oh, Disney has like
Yeah.
I get it now, what the obsession is
Yeah.
all about. For the
Right.
longest time I thought you all were absolutely crazy, but no,
Mhm.
well, there's reasons for all of this.
Right. I mean, you go in there and like the ceiling has like the stars and like there's the crickets and the music and the
Mhm.
tree and
And
like
the smells,
it's so yeah, and the smells and you're like, wait a minute, wasn't I just outside? Like
yeah,
what's
you're like, wait, am I
happening?
in California or am I
Yeah.
in Louisiana right now?
Right. It's absolutely like totally 100% like just really immersive. And
Yeah.
so it's if you can never ever ever go to New Orleans but you live in California, you should go to this restaurant because it's a home run in like capturing the city. So
I do like, and I do want to touch back on 2 points from what Casey was saying. The first is we're still probably all crazy. Now you just get it. And 2 is, they have the same sort of ride set up in the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot with the Tres Caballeros. And you get to sit inside, and it's nighttime themed. And for those guests who have only been in Disney World, that is like superb. Like how cool is that theming? Love it. But then I feel like because it's pirates, that it just takes it to that next level. And so to me, this is like that ultimate blend of ride and restaurant.
Right, because it's like with the Mexico restaurant in Epcot, it's like, oh, this is a cute boat ride. Like it's such a staple to Epcot. But like Pirates of the Caribbean, like that's like one of the original Disneyland rides. So it's like really cool to be in the restaurant with being like, oh my gosh, this has been here forever. Has that always gone through the restaurant, or because I don't know when that restaurant opened.
I don't think so, but I don't know when the Blue Bayou opened originally.
Yeah, because I know like the ride opened shortly after the park opened, right?
Yeah.
We saw that picture. That we were doing some research on it, and we saw that picture of all the people in the 50s eating in there. And
really?
Oh my gosh! And they're all dressed up, and they have on like their pearls and their jackets, and like their hair's all done, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's true. So maybe it did
people
open
are
up
now
with
walking
the
in there all
ride.
sweaty after the park.
Right. They're like, all like their jean cutoffs, and they're like, "What up, Mickey?"
Right.
Casey, what food have you had there?
So I had the jambalaya, which is like one of my favorite dishes of all time, and it was fantastic.
I feel like you're almost forced, because when we went there, I got the jambalaya too. I feel like you're almost forced to get it because you're like, well, I'm here. I should probably get this, right?
I actually got
one of those options.
I got the steak, and it was honestly one of like the best steaks I've ever had. And my dad, I was with my parents, and he kept wanting my dish over his. I don't remember what he had, but so if you're a carnivore or love, steak, you should absolutely get that when you're there because it's delicious.
I remember that I had the Monte Cristo sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Those are
and
good.
It was good. That was actually my first experience with Monte Cristo sandwiches. And it was good. It was good. So I enjoyed it. I would say I would probably get that again going back there. But I did try the jambalaya, and it was good. So cool. Well, for time's sake, anything left to say about the Blue Bayou
those
right
are my
now?
top 2.
All right, good. Let's head on over to Lydia. Lydia, what do you have for us?
So my first pick is the Plaza I guess we could do both because I've been to the one on Main Street in Florida and the one on Main Street in Disneyland, but I've been to the one in Disney World more. And I just love it because I have so many great memories there. Like growing up, I always remember going to this restaurant like with my entire family, and it's always crowded, but it doesn't feel like overwhelming or like annoying at any point. Like it's like very welcoming and fun to be in there with like a group of people who are like sitting on Main Street USA in Disney World. And it's also, I remember we would go there a lot right when the parade or the fireworks were going off. And so it's really cool, like being in the restaurant and like the windows are kind of reverberating because of the fireworks, or like peeking out and like seeing the parade. So we have like a lot of good memories with that growing up. And they have like the best meatloaf, which was Walt's favorite. So you have to get that when you're there. And I was there one time and they were like, we don't have it. We like ran out. And I was like, I came all the way here and ran out of the meatloaf. And like, then they came back and they're like, we're just kidding. We're not out. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh man.
There is magic.
I know. I was like, this is magical. And so like, there's just been, like their milkshakes are amazing. It's so beautiful. I love that like turn of the century decor, which is like, what makes up Main Street. And then the one out in Disneyland, we went and we actually got to sit outside, which is kind of cool because they have outdoor seating in the Disneyland one, and it kind of takes up like a cove on Main Street. And it's actually where Walt ate a lot. So that was like really nostalgic, being like, oh my God, Walt ate here and he ate this dish. So that's, it's just like a really cool experience. Like if you're a super Disney nerd, we've done like, we just have so many memories there. Elizabeth, remember when we said it was Mom's birthday?
Mom's birthday, and they went all
out. And I mean, we just like, it's just a great place to like make a lot of family memories.
It's almost
so
like
highly recommend it. Yeah.
Classic. And almost like, you know, when we started going to the parks, just Bruce and I, as our family, I've just turned it into like our as well, like, this is what we do. We come to Disney, we have to go to the Plaza. Like it's almost like just that tradition that's carried on. And they started recently doing breakfast, which has been really nice. And Bruce and I have gone and ate breakfast there a few times, and they do really nice platters there. You know, your traditional eggs, bacon, sausage, biscuit type of platter. But again, it's kind of nice to be on Main Street in the morning, kind of before it gets too crowded, have a really nice meal as well. So definitely a top Disney restaurant.
Oh yeah. And then it's one of those places where it's like, it's really fancy looking, but don't feel like that at all. Like I've been in there when it's like 110 degrees outside and it's like disgusting, and I'm in my shorts and t-shirt, more like spaghetti strap shirt, and it's like, you can go in there right after getting off Splash Mountain and no one's gonna judge you. Like it's absolutely delicious.
I think we actually did that. I think we Splash Mountain straight to Plaza.
The seats might be waterproof, I can't remember.
That's funny. I'm actually going to reserve my comment on the Plaza until later on in the show. So, so Lydia, what's your second?
So my second favorite is actually in Hollywood Studios in Disney World. And it's the 50s Primetime. I think that's the formal name of it. I just call it like the 50s Cafe, but I think it's called 50s Primetime Cafe. Is that right, Bruce?
Yes.
Okay. Fact checking with you. I love this place. I think it's underrated. I think people kind of forget it's there because it's kind of tucked off the main road and like kind of over near the giant dinosaur ice cream place. But I love it. I mean, the 1950s isn't my favorite decade of the 20th century, but they did have pretty cute like home decor, and like Disney just again killed it with going above and beyond, making sure that this restaurant includes everything that your grandmother or mother had like in the 1950s. And from like the dishes to the vases to the classic diner chairs and like checkerboard flooring, and like then I love how they have like TVs placed throughout it, because like that was a huge thing in the 50s. Like you'd watch TV while eating dinner. And of course they play like your favorite, you know, Disney cartoons on the TVs. So that's really cute. But my favorite aspect about it is the wait staff. So what's really unique about this is they are not like, hi, welcome to the cafe. Like, we're gonna be your server today. They treat you like their children almost. And they're like, what do you want to eat? Like, I'm busy. Like, let's go. And they're so sassy. And I love it. Like, they're just 100% all the time. And I was there once with my mother and my dad, and we had like the best waiter in the world. He was so sassy and just like in the zone. And he just kept calling my mom by her first name, like every time he would address her. So he'd be like, Janice, what do you want to eat? Like, Janice, you have to order. Hurry up, Janice. And my mom's like really indecisive, so it made it even funnier. And then he brought out like this bomb, like frozen milkshake that was super delicious. And I had like amazing fried chicken and this amazing s'more dessert. And and then we actually went back there with like the whole family. And Bruce, didn't you bring the waiter to say hello?
Yeah, so I found that exact waiter, and I talked to him about coming back, you know, a decade later and pulling the same joke on her as if he remembered her, and he played along so well. And I have some great photos with all of the cast members of 50s Primetime that want to take a group photo after he pulled off this epic prank. So
and like
it's a lot of fun.
it's so much fun. I mean, it's just like there, and some people are like intimidated by it. Like my other sister Meredith, like they were being kind of like, "What do you want to eat?" And she was like, "So you have to go in being like, these people aren't being rude to me. Like this, they're
It's all
acting.
jokes. It's all for
it
fun.
is
all jokes.
It's
It's
all
all
fun.
fun.
It's a restaurant,
But it
for
is
those,
very different. Oh,
I was just
go
going
ahead,
to
Bruce.
say, it's a restaurant for those looking to have fun, not having and not a restaurant for those looking to relax. And dine.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I was gonna say it's one of those restaurants too where you have great Disney magic and Disney hospitality, like what they're known for, and then if you go here and you don't realize that that's it, you're going to be very upset.
Be
So
like a
you
first,
have
first timers first restaurant.
Oh,
If you
you
get
would
mad,
not.
if you get mad about getting wet on Splash Mountain, maybe don't go to this restaurant.
Yeah.
It's
Like
part
if
of
you
that
have like
whole thing.
the shakes after coming off Hollywood Tower Terror, don't go to this restaurant. It definitely can like increase your blood pressure if you're a little nervous. So
That's too funny.
I love it though. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's comfort food, which is like, who doesn't love comfort food?
Yeah.
So,
Mom's comfort food for sure. So,
Hey, Bruce, you want to bring us home?
Yeah. So, I do have two, and then I have a couple of honorable mentions.
Okay.
And so I will go through mine rather quickly. My first one is Chefs de France. So, for the obvious reasons, the location, the food, just the ambiance of that restaurant. But my second is the Plaza.
We
in
got
the
some
Magic
overlap.
Kingdom.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so because of that overlap, I didn't want to chime in too much during Lydia's portion, and so just to add to what she said, the location, even though the restaurant is small in size and capacity, it feels intimate while also being in the crowds. And so because it overlooks the circle in front of the castle and right at the end of Main Street, you are amongst everybody walking by, fireworks, parades, stage shows, but it's like just removed enough where it's intimate and you can enjoy a dining experience while looking out at all of the craziness. And the food has always been good. The wait staff has always been good, but that location to me is prime real estate. And the restaurant, I think, lives up to its location. So
it definitely feels like you have like a private seat to look at Disneyland or Disney World or whatever.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's really cool.
And so
Great people watching.
It is. Yeah, that's a good point. And so I did come up with two honorable mentions because of the overlap that we could also talk about. And so the first is Kona Cafe over at the Polynesian, and I want to put a note that I am calling out Kona Cafe for breakfast. And so I think this is a great way to start your day at the Magic Kingdom, or even catch the monorail over to Epcot. The breakfast is always so good. The Kona coffee is always hits the spot, and I do enjoy eating while being in the Polynesian lobby, and you're on the second floor. And so just because of the food and the good location, I put Kona on the honorable mention list.
And I think Kona's, we've been there for lunch as well. The cool thing though about eating at the resorts, if you have the opportunity, is if you're not staying at the resorts, it's a great opportunity to see the resorts and to really, it's a great marketing for Disney in that sense, where you can go in and you can really feel like an immersive deluxe experience. And this is why, it's that deluxe hotel, but they have amazing food offerings, and it just like really pulls you into the whole experience. And like to Casey's point, walking into the Blue Bite, like I think that's a lot of what the food is. It's about experiences and the memories that you create, like Lydia said. When we're talking about this, I'm thinking of all those memories, experiences that we've created, and it's surrounded by food because Disney does such a good job at both the experience and the food. And so that's why
at Kona, you can go downstairs afterwards and get a spiked pineapple swirl.
Yes,
you can get a Dole Whip.
Yeah. They're so good.
Spiked and unspiked. All right.
Yeah. That's spiked.
And just for time's sake, I would love to keep this conversation going, but just for time's sake, I do want to say my obligatory other notable mention is Be Our Guest over at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So if you go for breakfast, it's still like quick service, pick off the menu of what you want, but they have gone to a preset menu for dinner, and it does cost, table service credits. And so this restaurant has evolved, but breakfast or lunch or dinner is a great opportunity to get inside and see the aesthetic. Of all of the restaurants I've been at Disney, I'm not sure that there is one that is so aesthetically breathtaking as Be Our Guest restaurant. And,
yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal.
And this is just
like
the
the
main
ballroom.
dining room. Yeah, there's two other rooms that split off to the side.
Yeah.
And so it's breathtaking. It is an attraction in amongst itself.
Yeah.
It is, heavily influenced French food, preset menu. So it might not be for everybody, but I will say that as a Disney travel agent, it is difficult to get people's reservations into Be Our Guest. It is still incredibly busy. So
because I think, like, to the point too, Disney, with the princesses, they typically focus on like the ball gown scene and the like charming aspect of it, whereas the seating in here, you can sit in the Beast wing, in the West wing, you
and
can
I feel
sit
like
in the ballroom. Like, it's so
might
cool
be
that
kind
you
of like
have
the
it all.
first one where it's 100% like based off the movie, so it's almost like you're in the movie set, which makes it like even more unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you walk down, kind of the what is like the drawbridge, and then you immediately are standing at the glass window, which is really cool to have that experience. And then they sweep you like into the castle, and it's, if you're into princesses, which I know a lot of people are, definitely one of the top princess restaurants.
I agree. And for time constraint purposes, we will leave it there. So if you're watching this or listening to this, please, in the comments section below, let us know what your favorite table service restaurants are. Disney World, Disneyland, let us know where you like to eat. Follow us on Facebook at 407 Beyond Vacation Company. Give us a like. And most importantly, please join our Disney Parks Facebook group, Disney Co. in the Know, where you can talk amongst other park goers, give advice, ask questions, and be a part of the Disney community. So, guys, please stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll good conversation. So now I'm going to go make some dinner.
Yes.
See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.